I'd like to call to order the Finance Committee meeting for February 25th, 2025 at 5:57 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That was 53, sorry. Attendance roll call.
Alderpersons Wolf.
Here.
Schrader.
Here.
Madden.
Here.
We have a quorum present.
Thank you. Public meeting notice?
This meeting was noticed in accordance with the open meeting law on Friday, February 21st, 2025.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes from the Finance Committee meeting on January 28th, 2025.
Motion approved. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. New business. Recommend approval of award of bid for 2025-2026 parks, boulevards, terraces, and facility landscaping services.
Move to approve. Second.
Scott, do you want to explain where we're at?
Good evening. So every 2 years we go through and we bid out our parks and landscaping contracts. This year we actually put out this bid to 3 more people than we did 2 years ago. And as you can see, we only got 1 bidder. Now, again, not sure why. We even followed up with a couple of people. I even got some sub bids for people who were supposed to turn in bids and they never did. I had one gentleman that came in probably every 2 weeks in the fall, said I wanted to look at it. I provided him the contract, everything to do. In the end, his sub bid, and he never bid. So we went through this whole process. We followed up with a couple people. Some, they said, we couldn't beat the price. Had too much work, but we are down just to 1 bidder. Also, looking at this, because we got asked to look at contracted services. So when we did this last time, it was $365,000. We have knocked this down to $327,500. So we knocked it down $39,500. Where some of the reasons why is one, remember in capital we discussed that we were going to buy an extra mower. So we took over one of the parks, Manchester Park will be also doing. 2, we looked at some of the things from our last contract that has worked really well. So I'll use City Hall as an example. If you look outside, the edging around it, it's worked really good. So I don't need to edge for 2 years. Also mulching, our mulch has lasted really good. So we're only going to mulch in this year of 2025 and skip it in 2026. This will allow us to save, like I said, $39,500 in contracted services. And it was one of the things that you guys asked us to look at doing. And I'm hoping with us going through another 2 years, and then doing another one, we can even find some more cost savings in our next round. Just to let you know, Siebert Landscaping, they're our current people that provide it. I checked again their references. CG Schmidt, they're the ones that did the high school. They're their go-to landscapers on all their jobs.
I think you're actually down to 325.5. You said 327.
Oh, yes, that was the first bid.
You're down to 325.
Yep, 325.5. We had them come in and we even negotiated down a little bit more. So.
Questions?
Yeah, what about Happy Mower?
Sure. Okay. So Happy Mowers, when we had it the last time, there were some issues that we had with them. One was invoicing. We had some concerns with the invoicing. 2, we had concerns with safety with their work on Janesville Road. And 3, we had some concerns when they did the contract. In the 2 years, I have not heard from Happy Mowers. If he would have came in, talked to me, I would have been more than happy to sit down. If he had a game plan of how I wanted to come back and do it, I would have helped him through it and said yes. And then we would have said, yeah, okay, let's have you bid it. He never came in. He never even asked it. The only times he has called me is he called me, the mayor, and Ryan and said that he heard that our landscaper, Siebert, wasn't doing so well. So if he would have came in, I am more than welcome to sit down and I will talk about anyone and have a debrief and then work it. But if he's not going to do it and just kind of like put bad language towards another vendor. We don't want to deal with that
Well,
right now.
he did send us an email. And said they were not allowed to build. Couple H&A Landscape was not allowed. Alex
So
was
H&A
not allowed to-
Landscaping,
was not allowed
H&A
to build.
Landscaping.
Hey,
right
hang on a
there.
second. We all received this email, correct?
I did not.
I did not.
Did everybody receive this email or not?
No.
Okay,
Well,
I just want to be, so we're all on the same page here.
I did not.
So H&A Landscaping, he came in on Monday, the gentleman right there, we exchanged business cards. He said, hey, can I bid on this thing? And I said, it's coming to bid on Tuesday and it's already done and he can't bid on it. But I said, I am happy for you to come in next year. Let's work through it. He's usually as a sub. He says he does a lot of work
This
with
is a
mulch.
2-year contract, right?
Yeah, but but the thing is this, you come in the first year and you start working on it and
Okay,
gearing up.
gotcha.
You know, I mean, why wouldn't you? And he says that he does mostly mulch work, but he doesn't do landscaping. So I am happy to work with him and get him ready for the next contract. Because if that means I get another bidder on this, more than happy to do that. But it's already out. I can't, because then it's not fair
Yeah,
to
but
other people.
it's out, but there's only one bid. Can't we resubmit this again for bids?
It is up to you to council to do
Because
it.
I think we should. We only have one bid. This is ridiculous. I have this email that I have
But
today.
one
and
thing,
it
can I
has-
say one thing? If you do it, everyone who's on this list has an opportunity to do it. I think that would be only fair. Does that
That's
make
fine.
sense? Even
Yeah.
if they said no.
That's fine.
But I also want to let everyone know too, that number's out now. So this kind of defeats our purpose. Our purpose is the biggest thing that a person has is that number. Now everyone knows that number. And if we keep kind of doing this, a lot of people tend not to bid. If we are going to say, hey, by the way, we're going to give you another chance. And also, it's sometimes not fair to the guy who bid, Siebert Landscaping. I'm just giving you all
Well,
these
isn't that
things to
kind of
look
the
at.
history we've had where we've given them a chance to lower their prices? I remember something about that.
Yeah, what happened was we had 3 bidders last time, and then they all bid at the same time, and then we had a chance to discuss and lower the prices. Without a doubt, but they all bid at the same
Okay,
time.
I just want,
No one came back and bid after the fact. Does that make sense?
I don't know if I should bring this up now or wait till council, but it seems like Siebert came in with a higher bid, and then they came back with a lower bid that met what
Happy Moore said, that was what happened 2 years
had
ago.
budgeted, so.
Yeah,
It was scope of service too.
yeah, scope of services. We really had to change. If you guys saw last time, all the first bids, no one made it.
What I'm
We had
saying
to,
is
we was
that-
out of our budget.
Siebert must have known what our budget was, so they came back and matched it because their match was exactly what we had budgeted.
Well, we can
We had
can meet-
performance issues with with the previous vendor, and that was part of it.
that's all documented.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay, I just want to
yeah.
make sure.
But did they rectify it after we talked?
Who,
You know-
Happy Moores?
Whoever we had performance issues with?
No,
you know?
they haven't, they lost the contract, they went on the Siebert.
Okay, because
And why did they lose their
same with,
contract?
same with,
Wait a minute,
Let's just
are we
say there was
talking about this
performance
contract or
issues.
last
Yeah,
contract?
You know, I'm not going to go sit and disparage a business, but we didn't have the best experience with them at that time. So I'm not going to go too far into detail. If you want, you can meet with Scott afterwards.
Okay, because I've got conflicting information on that.
same with Deb. I received a couple of phone calls and the one email, but I received probably 2 or 3 phone calls where they were discouraged from bidding.
I have not talked to Happy
not true.
Moores. I have not
absolutely
talked to
not
Happy
true.
Moores since that time.
It is absolutely not true.
Yeah,
And they're not even on this list here.
no,
They didn't bid.
they didn't bid.
Well, nobody on that list
We
bid,
didn't
but-
ask them to bid for this one. We can
So
choose
did-
who we want. But if they would have came in and they would have talked to me and we would have sat down and we thought they'd changed their ways, I would have totally asked them to bid.
So did we decide who we wanted to bid on
Yeah,
this, or did we
yeah, I
just
reached
put it
out-
out for?
I reached
anybody
out to,
bid?
like, last time we reached out to 5, I reached out to 8 people this time.
We'd be putting out to anybody to bid and then
Isn't this a
determine
posted
which
bid?
one.
No, it's a service contract for like, we can choose how many, and I thought 8 was good enough. It's a pretty good amount. And I had 5 people that were ready to do it for sure.
I remember the conversation last time, sorry, Bob, but where you talked about this not being a formal bid, being a service contract.
Yeah.
So I remember part of that.
Correct.
And maybe in confusion, maybe we should make this a bid rather than, it's a lot of money. We're talking $250,000 here for a couple of years.
So just to let you know, if we do publicly bid it, it will cost more money to bid it.
Because,
We have to put it on Quest. We have to do a little bit more. Like, I'm able to do this contract work and I'll do it myself. Does that make sense?
What do you mean by a little more? How much more? What are you talking
Jeff, do you want to explain the
cost-wise?
difference? between the
There's
quoting
no
process?
reason to publicly bid this. You guys can go out and get more bids. You just get it out or quote, but get it out to everybody. Publicly bid is only for a construction contract, and that's a specific statutory thing. You really don't need to go down that road. You'll get the same result if he just puts it out to everybody to have it all bid. You can do that, but let's not go down the road of publicly bidding when we really don't need to.
And our goal is to get the best price and the best service. Don't get me wrong on this. And I mean, if say someone else provides that service and they were interested, they would have contacted Scott. I mean, we can't tap on the shoulder of every person out there, but if he, gets a hold of somebody, they could have bid it.
We increased it. Guys, we only sent this out, I think, to 5 people in the last contract. We're up to 8 people now to do that. And I'm hoping with H&A in 2 years, we could be 9. I am happy to have him come in and work with him to do it. I have nothing against him doing it. We're at that point, and if you allow this, now, if he would have came to me, I told him in the meeting, if you would have came to me 3 weeks ago, let's have this discussion. Do you know what I mean?
But if they're not told about it, how do they know to come to you?
Well, it's part of business. You got to kind of know where the work is. And I mean, do you get to quote every loan out there? I mean, people have to, there's a point where you have to reach out to customers.
The gentleman, Muskego Lawn Care, he came into me in October, and he started talking to me. He goes, "Do you have a contract to cut grass?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "When are you going to do it?" I go, "This." He goes, "I want to look at it. I want to bid on it." I said, "Sure ahead." I had another person that came in at the same time, said, "I want to bid it." I gave it to him, ready to go. He was working with subs. The one guy said, "You know what? I'm not even going to bid on it. It's too big for me, but in a couple of years." If anyone comes in and starts talking to me, I am happy to do this and talk
okay,
to people.
let me ask, so it's not a good idea to post service contracts that we're going to do this?
You can, yeah. I mean, I have no problem with posting if like going forward.
That's what I'm
if you
talking
wanna go-
about. The bid
going
process would
forward,
be the same thing,
well,
right?
Bidding and.
No, I'm saying it's the same
posting.
idea.
Yes,
Okay.
I have no problem if you want to spend the money and we post it on.
Well, just post it on our website. It's something we posted somewhere.
Sure. I mean, I don't think that's going to be real effective, but I think if we put a newspaper, if you want to really get out there, we would place an ad in like the Daily Reporter or something like that all contractors get. I have no problem with that. I mean, there's a cost to it, but.
Minimal,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Just to hammer the point home, it's a service contract. We technically could just call up one guy if we want, and we can do whatever we want when it's a service contract. It's good to get a lot of
Oh, yeah, that's
bids
not-
so
doesn't
that
make sense to do
we
one.
get the lowest,
I'm
but we're not
not in favor of
required by law to do any of the public bidding. So it's just to make sure you're all on the same page with that.
And then just to reiterate, because of the email that circulated, everybody on this list, there was nobody told not to bid on this list. Is that what I'm understanding?
Absolutely.
Correct, absolutely not.
Okay.
Scott, do you have the email they're talking about, or
I have no idea
For
what email you're
transparency,
talking
I don't know
about.
where it
can
all
you show him the email so he can give you
I
a
mean,
straight
that
answer?
gentleman right over there, I totally talked to him on H&A. I have his business card. I gave him my business card. I am happy to work with him. I have no,
I know, but
Okay.
I hate for you to answer the question and not see who's all on that
Right,
list.
well, the email says F&W Landscape, who holds the Muskego School District contract, was not allowed to bid. H&A Landscape, who we talked about here, Alex, not allowed to bid. Happy Mower, who held the contract for 7 years, 2024 Volunteer of the Year in Muskego, was not allowed to bid.
Who wrote this email? Happy Moore?
Yes.
Happy Moore would have known 2 years ago they could bid this. They would know when this is coming up, but that's.
correct. And if they would have came in, I would have been happy to talk to him about it.
But if you've talked to them in the past, they worked for us in the past, why weren't they just given an invitation to bid like these other people were?
Okay, so as I started off.
As we said, we had performance issues with.
We
them
had
in the
performance
past.
issues, okay? And I named 3 performance issues. And then in the in-between time, he basically has told us on a phone call that he doesn't like the current landscape company.
So,
Do you really want to start having contractors telling other contractors those are bad? Because I don't think
well,
as a
you're
city, we
saying that
really
they
want
had bad performance, and I'm sorry, But when I became an alderman, I got calls from Happy Moore when I first became an alderperson. And they said they were asked to cut back on their service, and then you got complaints. So there's conflicting
Well, no,
stories
no,
about
no,
what
there's some-
happened.
hold on.
All right, let's reel this back in.
yeah.
One, first of all, let's get recognized before we talk. We'll just kind of rein this in. You guys can decide if you want to accept this, you want to extend it. You can start the quoting process over again. As Scott said, if you do not accept this one and throw it back out for quotes again, it sets a precedent that people will look at it. I mean, this isn't from lack of trying. I understand that we would have all love to have 15 quotes there. We tried for 8. We got none. I understand if you want to re-go through this process again and reopen it up, that's your choice, and I'm not going to fight you on it, because we all want the same goals. We want the best service for the least amount of money. But it does set a precedent, and it's different than we have done for this contract for going back for 15 plus years since we've been doing it. So just so you're aware. Alderman Kabaki.
I really strongly object to redoing this for several reasons. One is it undermines, like, as the mayor mentioned, our whole bidding process.
It's quoting.
Or quoting process, or whatever this is.
Service contract.
For a service contract. The number's out there. It's easy for people to take a pot shot at that number when the number exists. So to redo this is, it's a slap in the face to Siebert, first of all. It was a fair process to start with. There were 8 people that were encouraged to bid. 1 bid, done. It doesn't serve well for Muskego to do a rebidding process after the bid, or whatever they call this, after that contract is let. So I object to going back.
The only question I have on this bid is that it lowered, it was $37,500. Is that what
Yep.
And how much is it costing us to do the other park? I mean, he knows he has to take that park out of it, right?
Oh, yeah, no, it's all in the new scope
Okay.
of changes.
So that's why we're saving $37,000. So it's not the graces of Siebert that's saving us $37,000. We're picking up some of the slack, right? So we're buying a lawnmower, we're putting labor into it. So how much are we paying at the city level to save $37,000?
Well, most of the biggest cost from that saving is the mulching and edging work. To tell you, it's intensive.
So are we saving money?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the point.
I'd like to get an analysis, even if you send it to all of us through an email, just so we can understand what we're saving, because these numbers don't tell me everything here. And to Kevin's
So
point.
I would have to break it
Kevin's
down.
point-
I'll
yeah.
probably break it down like.
Just give us an idea.
Like parks, mulch, and edging. The biggest things that we pulled
I
out.
just want to make sure we're not spending $40,000 to save $37,000. And the other point is,
Now,
Kevin,
wait a minute here.
when you do the quoting on this, there's a basis point to start. They know what it was last contract, and they know what they're taking out on this contract, and they know we've got to be competitive. So you could rebid this, and it wouldn't make that much of a difference. We would probably win and save a little bit of money.
Right.
But
okay,
the
so-
point is that, there's a starting point, and people know where they're going.
So I know you went the cost saving thing, but let's go back to capital.
Well, I just want to make sure, because the way this is presented to me is that this is given to one bidder only, and we're saving $37,000. So I just want to point that out.
Yeah, but do you remember in capital when Ryan asked for a lawnmowing machine?
Right, that's why I brought up a lawnmower.
That lawnmower is way more than $37,500. I want to let you know.
I
right
understand
now.
that, but there's a projected life on that. So you
Yeah.
can say it's an 8-year life.
So that's why I wanted to
It's
make sure, like,
$5,000 a
yeah,
year. Yeah.
correct.
Yeah,
There's going to be.
I'm just looking for an estimate. I just want to make sure we're not spending $40,000 to save
No,
$30,000.
I bet you the biggest cost savings will be because we're not edging throughout the city and the mulch. Does that make sense?
Okay,
It's
so.
labor intensive.
So Siebert's not going to do any more edging.
Not for this 2-year contract.
And we're gonna do one of the parks, and they're only taking 37,000 off. So it sounds like edging is a lot of labor to me.
Yeah, and that's why
And
it's
there's a lot of
37
edging
and
in the
mulch.
city, and
Yeah.
a lot of edge, and a lot of, we might be able to do better on a rebid. I don't know,
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it out there. 37 doesn't sound like a big savings
What would you- what
for
would you-
what they're taking out.
It's
For what they're taking
11%.
out.
What would you guys like to do?
I'd like to do a rebid on this.
Well, I'm just talking through it.
There's so many, like I said, this email today and things that I've heard.
Can you make a motion for that?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to send this
lawn service contract out for a rebid or re-quote.
Do you have a second?
I'd like to send it up to council and have the whole council do it, Deb. Have everybody talk about it. So
That's fine.
I'd like to just move this up and then we can vote on it that way.
Okay, so it dies for lack of a second. Someone make a motion to advance it to council without a recommendation.
Yeah, that's fine.
Can I get a motion and a second?
I'll second that. I'll motion to send it to council
Also without a
recommendation.
I'll second it. This way it gives us a chance to all talk about it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I heard one.
That's
All
me.
those in favor?
I said it.
Okay. Opposed? Thank you. Moving on, recommendation of approval of F Street Kirkland 1 LLC Developers Agreement. It's a developers agreement for Kirkland Crossing. It's in your packet. Any questions?
No. Move to approve.
Hearing none, all those in,
Did
oh,
we
sorry,
move to
yeah.
approve yet?
I did. Move to approve.
We need a
Get a
second.
second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That passes. Recommend approval of purchase of vacant land for tax key number 2229.992.006.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Voucher approval.
I don't. Am I reading them here? Or am I waiting till?
No, you're reading.
You can read them.
Okay. Recommend approval for vouchers, for utility vouchers, in the amount of 27,029, wait,
Nope.
Wait a minute. You've got the wrong. Here, I'm sorry.
sorry.
That's right. Sorry.
Recommend approval for utility vouchers in the amount of $532,968.17.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That passes.
Recommend approval for tax vouchers in the amount of $19,894.35.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
And recommend approval for general vouchers in the amount of $525,745.72.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
And recommend approval for wire transfers in the amount of $421,471.96.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That passes. There is no finance director's report and communications. Otherwise, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So
Sure
moved.
who's got it.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Adjourned at 6:17.